So I wasn't here last week, and it's because I went to Mexico, and I spent, I think it was like 6, 7 days over there, and I went to my grandma's house because my grandpa was sick, and it was really bad, and we didn't know what was gonna happen. So mom, like, we had to go. So that's why I wasn't here. And Esteban, it was pretty cool the way everything worked out because Esteban just happened to be here, and we were gonna film regardless. But it was tight that he was willing to do it with you alone. So that's tight.
And we went to the casino twice.
Yeah, so that was tight. Everything like just worked out. But like going over there, it's like I feel like you learn a lot. And I felt like I knew before I went it was gonna test my heart on if I have grown. Because I feel like I wasn't in tune. Like I couldn't pick up on certain, like, I don't know what it is. But going over there, I feel like I could pick up and I could appreciate everything. And I just wanted to go over there and just like show love to everyone. And be nice to people regardless of if I've never met you. Just on the basis of that we're family. So it's like, because before I used to have a different outlook. I used to be like, yeah, we're family, but I don't know you. And I used to be like, that was weird. But now I went into it like, no, you're family, so you're family. I went into it like that. The whole trip, I went into it like that. And doing so, I felt like I connected a lot more with normally I wouldn't. I did things I normally wouldn't done because I'm like, this is the time. Like when it's a time like that, right? When everybody's worried or sad or whatever, I feel like that's when people need it the most. So that's what I try to do. And it's weird, but I mean, seeing our grandpa in the hospital bed, and when I seen him, he was in bad shape, and I was like, damn, like it hit me like, dang, this is real. It's different when you hear it like over the phone. Hey, your grandpa's sick. But when he's right in front of me and he's not even talking, he can't even acknowledge that we're in the room like that. It's like that. I'm like, oh, this is real. And I seen him and I was like in my head, I'm like, almost like, I don't think people understand how serious this is, because I was looking at our aunts and I'm like, yeah, they're worried, but I'm like, I don't think they're thinking what I'm thinking. And in my head, what I was thinking, I was like, this looks like he's on his deathbed. And that's what hit me in my head, because I'm like, damn, are we gonna have to witness him die? And I'm like, that's crazy. I couldn't picture that, and I couldn't imagine what that would look like.
He had pneumonia?
I didn't know exactly what he had. But they said he had like infection, and he had a bunch of problems with a bunch of organs. And one thing I noticed over there, the nurses over there, like, well, the majority of people there are assholes.
In the hospital?
We were in a clinic. And everybody, all our aunts and everything are worried, so they're obviously there every day, because they want to see him, because they don't know what's going to happen. So they would take up the whole waiting room. And then they would just sit outside, and then they would take turns individually going in and out. And because they were going in and out frequently, I think that really bothered some of the nurses, because they got irritated of so much in and out, in and out. So they were already irritated by the time I got there. And like, it is kind of hectic though, and I understand, but it's like, I think in a situation like this, you should not be like that. Even if you have to say something like they told us, hey, no, because they started implementing rules, because before, like, 3 people would go in and see him at once, 4. So they're like, hey, it can only be 2 people now in the room with them at all times. They can't be more than 2. So they started putting in rules, and I understand that, because they're like, oh, probably 4 people, 5 people, crowded room, whatever, for the nurses, whatever. So I understand that certain rules, but It's just the way they did it. The way they did it when I was in there. The guy came in and I was in there, and it was just two of us. And it was a male nurse. And he's like, he could tell by his face, and I didn't really understand everything he said because over there they're speaking Spanish, and I understand Spanish, but there's certain words and certain things that I don't understand. So he came in and he said, "Hey, I already told you guys there can only be two people in the room. We're only two people in the room though." So I'm already confused. And he's like, if you guys don't want him to, then you guys, I don't know what the fuck that meant. It's like everything happened so fast, I don't know what that meant until I let it sit. And then my mom's like, "Oh, he's saying that if you don't want him to die, you don't keep it to the rules to 2 times because you guys are taking all his energy away." And I'm like, there's better ways to communicate that.
Is that how old was the guy?
And he seems probably like my age, like 28.
And he looked gay or no?
Like actually gay?
Yeah.
I don't think he's gay. He was a little weird, but he wasn't gay. I don't think he was gay. But it was just after I figured out and I let that sit in that, oh, this fool came in and talked like that, I had a certain feeling already towards him. Like already, like if he said something again, I'm gonna say something. And the next time he came in here, it was an attitude change. But there was a nurse there too who didn't like us going back and forth. And I remember when I went in there I needed to talk to my mom. I told me, "Hey, can I go inside real quick? Or no, can you go get my mom?" The girl gave me the look like a bitch face. And she like rolled her eyes and shit. And it just pissed me off because I'm like, I told her, "I'm not even going to go in. Just go inside and get her and bring her outside and I'll talk to her. That's all I want to do." "All right." She's like, "All right. If you want to talk to her, all right, but go wait in the waiting room then." And I'm like, all right. Like, I sometimes I want to say something, but I know that where I'm going to take it it might be too far for what the situation is. So, all right, whatever. I went outside. And then eventually they kicked everybody out the waiting room. And this is Mexico in Sonora. So it's like hot as shit outside. It's at least like 99. And we're all outside, hot as shit, sweating.
No shade?
No shade, no, because the sun happened to be hitting us directly. And
nowhere you can walk to chill?
Well, they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay there. Everybody wanted to stay there. And so they were just waiting in the front. But yeah, that's what I seen in certain clinics. And I was like, because I wasn't the person that was paying for everything, because it's like, if I'm paying, I'm paying you. What the fuck you complaining about? You getting paid, like, shut up, right? Because money in Mexico talks. Anything. If you got money, motherfucking shit will flip. Like, and that's how it is. I mean, that's it. That's how it is everywhere, really. But over there, it really is a display. If you got money, people will treat you better. It's like, it's different. Over here, people will treat you the same. It's not like the clinic over there will say, "Hey, we need this amount of bread, or he's gonna die right here. We're not gonna give him anything." And they will care regardless. They're like, "Hey, if you don't bring it to us in time and that happens, that's not our problem." And that's how it works over there. Over here, it's like, no, we'll save him and we'll figure out a way for you to pay us later. Like, those are the differences. So I'm like, it was kind of like crazy the way things are done over there, but I understand that. It's just the way it is. But overall, I had a good trip. It's just a lot of back and forth, back and forth. I think every time I go over there, it's back and forth.
How long were you guys at the hospital for? Like, how many days were you guys in the waiting room?
We were there 2 days.
Oh.
2 days and
2 full days?
Yeah, because so he was really, really sick, like I said. And then mom's like, "I have a feeling that when I see him, he's gonna get better." And I'm like, that's very optimistic, but to me, I'm like, I didn't really think anything of it, but it kind of happened. Like when mom seen him, the first day she didn't recognize her. Second day he did. And then they said, okay, he's getting better. And they're like, hey, we recommend that you actually go to a hospital now because it would be a lot cheaper. How so? I don't know, because we were in a clinic. They were like, and he would be getting the same treatment. So don't worry about that. And it's 24/7 over there as far as like the nurses and stuff like that. So they're like, we highly recommend you take him. And my mom told the doctor, you got to understand that what you're telling me, right? So you're telling me it's okay to transport him from here to a hospital. And mom's like, you understand that you're telling me that. So if anything happens to my dad, you're responsible because you're telling me he's in good shape to transport to a different place. And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's on me, whatever. Oh, mom's like, okay. So then that was the second day. So then when we left, they're like, we're going to transport him. They transport him in the nighttime.
In an ambulance?
In an ambulance, yeah. And all that shit's expensive. You know, it's not his wife, but it's like his girlfriend, the one that's taking care of him. She said like she put a lot of money into taking care of him, and everything's expensive, and the ambulance and everything. So he's in the hospital now. The next day, right, we go and we start visitation changes because now it's only 2 hours a day, and I think it was at 12 and it was at 4. So you could only see him, and it could only be one person in the room. So that was tricky because his girlfriend didn't like leaving his side, and even he didn't like her leaving his side. So whenever somebody went in, it would just go in for a little bit.
But she stayed with him all day regardless.
Yeah, she would stay with him all day. So everything changed. So mom's like, oh, well, there's no point of us waiting in the waiting room if we're not even going to be able to see him. Like, so then that's when we went to go to our grandma's house. And we went over there. But, I mean, it was a lot to... It seems like because we went over... Every time we go over there, everything's extremely busy. It seems like there's always something that we're doing. And when you live life like that, it's interesting because days fly by, and not just days fly by, but it seems like I'm really living life. And it was a weird thing because everything was new. Like I woke up and I didn't know what we were going to do. I didn't know where we were going to go, who we were going to talk to. And I felt like I had to be on my toes at all time, like sharp, because it's always like you hear all these stories of the violence and stuff. And it's like, it's even worse because I'm there with my mom. If it's just me, it's like, okay, like it's different. And then when I have that weight, I have to be on my toes. It's like no fuck ups. But living like that, and when we were in the clinic, we didn't have a place to stay because nobody lived in the inner city. But luckily they had a friend there. They had a friend there who was letting our aunt sleep there just for the night. So that way they wouldn't have to go back home, because home to them is like an hour and a half.
How far is the place that they were staying at from the hospital?
Like 5 minutes.
Drive?
Yeah, drive, and 15-minute walk. I walked it. So we went, and it was nighttime. I was like, oh, I didn't know. I was like, I didn't know where I was going to sleep. So I'm like, let me see if I can get a hotel. And they told me, no, there's no hotels around here. So they're like, where we got you a place to stay, you're going to stay where they've been staying, which was a stranger's house to me, but a friend to them. So I stayed there, and these people are hella kind. Like, and that's what really like surprised me. What didn't surprise me, because Mexicans a lot of times are always kind, but it's like, it's different. This level of kindness is different. You know, when I come in there, I'm a stranger to them. And it's cool, like, step in.
Nobody even gave him a heads up?
No. And I felt a little odd at first because I'm like, I mean, is somebody going to introduce me? Like, and I'm just sitting on the couch. Well, not the couch, but next to the couch on a chair. And it felt weird. But I mean, what am I going to do? It's the middle of the night. We're in the hood, apparently. Like, it's really dangerous out here. It's nighttime. And I'm like, that's where I'm going to stay, I guess. And I'm already super tired because of the jet lag. And I'm like, I kind of want to just go to sleep, but I didn't want to say anything. be rude or anything, so I just stuck it out. But the people there, the dude seen me, and the girl who was living there seen me, and you could tell by the look they were surprised, like, who is this kid? And but there was no issues. And the guy came to me and he handed me a beer. And my rule is like, if a man hands you a beer, you always gotta accept it. It's just a rule in my head, and I don't know if it's a real rule within men. But if a man hands you a beer, you take it. Or if a man says, "Hey, you want to go get a beer?" You just do it. You just do it. Like,
especially when you're at his house, you're staying at his house.
Yeah, especially. So he came and he had these little mini ones, these Tecate ones. Like, I don't really drink Tecate, right? But it don't matter to me. It's the thought. Like, to acknowledge me in the room when there was so much people. He came and he said, "You want one?" Oh, I'm gonna take it, right? I'm not gonna deny it.
The Tecate is trash.
It's not trash, but it's just not my beer.
Like 1 to 10.
It's probably average 5, 6.
Oh,
but it was a little small one, right? So I drank that one, and then I stayed the night there, slept on the couch, and then the next day, they were like, "Hey, like, whatever you guys want, like, you guys want something from the fridge, just grab it. Don't even think about it." And we were like, we wanted to go to the store, and the guy's like, he overheard, and he's like, "You guys are going to the store?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Who's picking you guys up?" And he's like, "Oh, we're gonna take a taxi." He's like, "Oh, you're not gonna take a taxi. You're gonna come with me." "Oh, you sure?" Yeah. I'm headed out anyways. So he took us to the store and everything. So I'm like, this is heck of kind people. And it's like, it's crazy because I always think back to America. And to the average American, I would ask you, if a stranger comes in your home, how are you gonna address that? Is it just like cool? Because to me, in their eyes, it's like, oh, this is just a kid, another human being, and it's all love. Like, regardless, like, it's crazy because you don't know who I am. I could be a killer. I could be a crazy person, and you just let me in and don't think twice on it.
Yeah, I don't know many people who would let random motherfuckers just stay the night at their house.
Unless they just are like...
Is there kids?
Yeah, there was a little kid there.
How old?
Probably like 3 or 4.
Yes, a random strangers sleep in your house. I mean, I've seen videos of people doing it, random strangers offering them a place to stay. But it's very few people.
Maybe it was just on the basis of that I came in with the party that I came in. So it was like, he has to be cool if he came with them, right? Maybe it was some of that. But just like how the dude there, everybody was so nice. Like, telling me how you slept, everything good. You take a shower, you get showers right there, everything, offering me everything. And I'm like, that's crazy, because it's like, it kept thinking like, well, we're from like here in America, like, people don't do that. Like, if you go, a lot of people won't let you stay at their house, and with rightfully so, right? Because it's like you're stranger danger type shit. But over there is different. It's like they don't see it that way. And it's so like, it just felt like, and the dude was like, when we were in the car, he told me his name, told him my name, and he said, "Write my number down." And I said, "All right." And he said, "If you need something, call me. Whatever you need, call me." "Oh, all right." And then I'm like, damn, like, I was just overwhelmed with like, this is crazy. I don't even know. I'm sleeping in a random person's house. I don't even know the dude. And yet they're so loving, and yet they're so good at making you feel welcome. Like, I felt comfortable. I slept comfortable. I had no worry in my mind. And I'm on a stranger's couch, right? So, and I had no worry in my mind, 0. I went to sleep like...
How old was the guy?
Probably is like 35, 36. And the girl there probably was in her late 20s, 27. And she's the one who had a kid. But I was like amazed by it, whatever. And I stayed at his house 2 nights before we went to our grandma's. And right before I left, I thought we were going to come back another night because I didn't know how the plans were. So I feel like I didn't really give him a proper goodbye. I just told him like, "Hey, thanks for everything. And I appreciate you letting me stay or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, no problem." He's like, "Take care." And they're like, hey, if anything changes, something surprises, something like that, you need to stay another night. Don't worry about it. Call me. My home is your home. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take you up on that in my head because I'm like, how am I going to get home? I was thinking like, I need to take a bus. So I started like doing some digging because I don't like being so heavily dependent on another human being on my life. So I started doing my own investigation. Hey, where's the buses at? Where's this at? Where, whatever. So I'm like, I already had a plan. Like, okay, I'm going to leave from here, from this city we're at, because I know where the bus is at now. Because I had asked around. I know where the bus is at. So I was like, maybe it would be smart if we stayed here another night. And right before we left. And I was like, stay here another night, then take the bus. And then we'd be all ready to go. But things never work out the way you wanted to. But
so you left right away? You only stayed that night and then you went to...
We only stayed 2 nights there. I stayed 2 nights there. It was.
My mom never stayed one night there?
Yeah, she did.
She stayed one night there?
No, we stayed 3 nights actually. Because it was 1 night by myself and 2 nights with my mom. So it was 3 days.
Where'd my mom sleep at?
She slept on the bed.
Oh.
With her sisters.
Oh.
And she even said like, it was weird sleeping in the bed with my sisters again. Like we're children. It was like an old memory. She said it was like, it felt like, it was like, I don't know, like kind of like nostalgic, I guess. Because we're all grown, yet we're on the same bed again, like we're children.
Yeah.
And she said it was something special about that. But
how many sisters in total?
It was probably like 3. 3 and my mom, so it was like 4 people in the same bed. But like you really, when you go over there, like, because you see the differences from like my dad's side, mom's side, you see the differences in poverty. And it's like, when I go to our dad's side, I don't see poverty. Like I don't see it. I see people who are, yeah, they're living a little bit outdated compared to how we're living. But when I go to my mom's side, I'm like, this is poverty. Like this is different, right? Because it's like, okay, no running water. We have lights though. We have lights. So, but the way you take a shower is with buckets and previously the way we did it, we would heat the water on the stove, right? We would heat the water on the stove or on top of a fire, and then you would take that and then you'd have warm water. This time we didn't even bother. There was already a bucket in that little place, and it's just a little curtain, and it's all made out of pallets.
Where do you refill the water at? From the water hose?
I think they get like hose. They said in the morning the water comes through the hoses, whatever, and you have to be the first one to get it, because if the neighbor gets it, then yours don't work. And I'm like, I don't know how that works, but that's how they do it. Like whoever gets it, if this person's using it, the neighbor, then you don't get it.
So you don't get water one day or what?
No, you don't get it. I guess
you gotta wait till they're done.
I guess I don't know how that works. But the way our grandma does it, she has barrels, like plastic barrels, and she fills them up with water. So I'm assuming that when she gets a chance, she fills them all up. That way she's set on water, and she uses that water to clean dishes, to brush her teeth, and to shower and stuff. But that's when I see, I'm like, yeah, like I don't see like
how far do you gotta travel from from grandparents to grandparents?
Like how far is it away?
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. But I think it's probably like 10 to 13 hours.
Oh, so they're far then.
They're far. And where we're at is just sand.
Sand like a desert?
Like damn near. There's sandstorms. So it's like
how big is the population there?
That I don't know, but it's definitely grown.
Then that's from the last time?
But the way it is like little
huts.
It's like a village. Like it's all dirt. All dirt. Like on your way there, it's nothing but dirt.
There's no cement in sight?
No.
No street lights?
No. Right until you get like starting getting closer.
No grass, no trees?
No. Everything's dead over there. It's desert. Like it's dry. You see cactus and stuff like that. But once you start getting a little bit closer, then you start seeing some small buildings and
no grass.
No grass at all.
No flowers.
No.
No bushes.
No. Like
so just desert.
And then so you go in, right? It's just nothing but desert and sand. You drive in, and then you see like a bunch of like little houses over there. And there's like it's like a village. And then there's that one there. And then if you go for like another 10 minutes that way, there's another one. So it's like small little villages. That's the proper word for it.
But they're not living in a house. They're living in shacks or what?
No, they're living in homes. Just some people are living in different types of homes. Some people don't got front doors, and some people do. Last time I went, our grandma didn't have a front door. This time she has a front door with a lock, and her lock is unique.
But is it like a door, like a regular door?
It's a steel door, like a
gate.
It's just a weird, like hard metal door. But she has an actual lock. But she remember when I closed the door at nighttime, she said, "Did you lock it?" And I said, "Well, I think so because I hit the latch this way." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Well, come double check." And she came and she's like, "Oh, you didn't lock it." And it was a weird thing because it was like a weird knob, like a little metal knob that you twist until it tightens. She's like, "Now it's locked." And now she's like, "It's very important to lock the door." She's like, "Because sometimes there's people who do drugs around here and they get all crazy and then they get into people's homes. They try to get into people's homes. So it's very important you lock the door." I was like, "Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll make sure to lock the door."
What the just a random motherfucker come into the house? You'd have to kill him, huh?
Yeah, I'd have to do something. And our grandma, though, surprisingly, she's very active. Like, she can move, and she's like 78 years old. And for her age, she can move very well. She gets up and runs and stuff. Like, she has the best movement out of all of our grandparents. Yeah, grandparents. And you wouldn't think so. Like, when you look at her, you'd be like, she's a little bit, she's getting old, but she can move. And I feel like her heart is the most loving. It's different. It's really, I feel it. She has something special about her. And it really like showed me this time. Like before it was always there, but this time I think it's because she's like, I know him already a little bit. I feel more comfortable around him. And it was all love. Like and a lot of times everybody would be talking, right? So a lot of times I wouldn't say anything because like, what am I going to say? Right. So I was just stuck in the conversation between everybody. So I would just be sitting there listening. And then, I would look and, you're just looking around and I would look at my grandma and she would just be staring at me. And it's a weird thing how I could almost read what you're thinking. And it was almost like, I can't believe he's really here. Like, and she'd always just smile at me. And I would turn away. And then she'd keep
looking at you though?
It's hard to replicate.
Like, had a big ass grin?
Yeah, just like super like happy to see me. Like I'm there. And like, she just made me feel super comfortable at her house. And every time we go over there, we stay at her house. And her house is like, it's made out of bricks and it has holes in it. And that's why to me, it's always like, because I think a lot of people think that when you come from the US, you're privileged. And I guess we are, right? But I'm humble. Like if my grandma is sleeping on the floor or anything like that, I'm sleeping on the floor. No doubt about it. I'm not going to complain. If you shower with cold water, I'll shower with cold water. If we ain't needing nothing today, I ain't needing nothing today. Even if I have the money, like just not really, because it's like this. We're all going to eat if I have money. But the point I'm making is that if you go through something on a daily, I'm not going to be like, I can't handle that. Yeah. I need AC. I need all this. No. If this is what you go through, I'll go through it too. Because it's like, why not? Like,
it's not a big deal.
I almost want to go to work with them. But like, hey, take me to work. Just to see what y'all really doing. And then so you could see me that, like, we're not so, we have a lot in common that you might not think. Like,
yeah, people think that we got it easy. We got an office job because we're in the US.
But living in the US though, It's great, bro. It's and it really shows. Like when you go to these other countries, like when you go, you really see.
I know.
Like,
It just
but
seems
you
like
can live good in Mexico though. But it's like it's just like the U.S. is my home. Like when I'm out the U.S., I know I'm not at home. And as soon as I came back and I see the people speaking English again, and I see the I go to the store and
there's lights
there's
and
calypsos and
your
there's
phone works.
hot fries and stuff like that. Yeah, and my phone works because my phone didn't work over there. It's like, yeah, this is my home.
Everybody's regular, like dressed regular. You don't gotta worry about somebody trying to snatch you, cartel style.
I think Mexico is a great country. It's a great country, and the people there are some of the most loving people I ever met in my life. The culture there is way better. The people, like the way I seen love over there, made me realize like America is almost like the Matrix. It's unreal how out of touch how out of touch we are with our neighbors and everything. And and it's not just them; it's me too because I live here. I don't talk to my neighbors. I don't talk to a stranger. I don't
Just
do
start
none
a
of that stuff.
conversation.
And the way I seen it over there was just like everybody. We were at the hospital, and then the lady just pulls up, and she sits down. She's like, "What are you here for?" And then the girl's like, "Oh, we're here because my grandpa. No, she's like, my dad's sick." She's like, "Oh," she's like, "I'm sorry to hear that." She's like, "What's going on?" And then she's like, "What are you here?" She's like, "My son, this happened to whatever." And they have a conversation. It's like, "Oh, hopefully, oh, have you tried this? Like, if he's having this issue, you can do this. And there's also here, you can go here and get this from there." And it sounds like genuine, just like
Trying to help each other.
trying to help each other. And then at the end of the day, hopefully everything goes well with your dad. And then hopefully, and it's like, what? Like, you don't see that type of stuff, at least not often over here. And one of the things that like blew me away was like we were at a clinic. Well, not a clinic, a doctor's office. Because mom went to go see a doctor over there. And when you go, we were in a waiting room. And you go and you gotta go into the pharmacy first. You pay, they give you a ticket, and then you go into the waiting room. And then the doctor comes out and calls you by number. So we were there, and when we went to the waiting room, well, there was people waiting in there. So there was it was almost a full room. You go in, you say, "Who's number 7?" Somebody says, "I'm number 7." Okay, I go after you. I'm number 8. Then you sit down. And then, you sit down. There was a kid there. Well, it was not a kid, but it's like a guy my age, probably a little bit younger. And he had his kid with him. And he had 2 kids with him. And he had his wife there, which I'm assuming is his wife. And they were sitting there. There was an old lady. There was another young lady there. And then there was another lady over here. So we were just sitting there waiting on the waiting room. Another girl walks in and sits down, starts talking to the other girl. Then while that happens, the guy with the kid that I said I am assuming he's his wife, it was her turn. She went in. So when she went in, the baby started crying. She had a small, like, not infant, but like probably, I don't know, a couple months maybe. He started crying, and the dad was trying to, keep the baby stop crying, whatever. And the lady that had just walked in, she was a young girl. She's probably like 28, 27. And she's like, "Me permites?" Meaning like, "Would you allow me to carry him?" He's like, "Yeah." He just gave her his baby to a stranger. And the stranger's like, what do they call that? Rocking his baby, and all of a sudden stops him from crying. And just had him for most of the time. And then she's like, "Here's your baby back to her." And to me, I was like, damn. That's something I've never seen before. Who I would never hand somebody else my baby. Right? If I was, I try to think of that. If I had my baby, I wouldn't hand my baby over just on the fear of like, what if you drop her? What if you do this? What if you have bad intentions?
Yeah.
What if you do something I don't like? There was none of that there. It was just genuine love and trust in another human being. Like so much faith. This person's not going to do anything that I'm going to dislike. And it stopped the baby from crying. The mom came out. The mom seen nothing. There was no drama, nothing. Gave her the baby back. Have a nice day. They left. And I'm like, that's something I've never seen before.
Yeah, because I mean, if it was happening in the U.S., the girl that went inside, the mom, when she came out and seen her kid in another girl's arms, she would come to the guy and
I'd
say,
be like, "What's
"You
wrong with
cheating
you?"
motherfucking bitch ass,
Yeah, yeah.
motherfucking pussy ass, you're dead."
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's another thing that's wrong. But the way everything just played out, and I was like, oh, they know each other, but they didn't. They didn't know each other at all. And I'm like, that's what I really seen in Mexico. That I'm like, damn, life is not the way America paints it. Like,
I don't. It's because technology. I think we're
social media fucked everything up.
Yeah, and they don't.
But they have
shit.
social media too, though.
But it's not as in advance. It's not. They're still. I think they're like third world country people are like still like that. A lot of shit goes by interactions. It's not like everything is over here is online. Like you never talk to nobody. If any interactions are online, like rarely would it be in person interactions. I just seem like Mexico is so behind still that it'll get there eventually.
To where it goes.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, it'll get there eventually.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, once the technology comes up and everybody starts living like in the US, well, we're over here like we have robots and shit and making our shit, and the Mexico we in this time.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that can die. I don't know. It's so strong.
Yeah, it died here.
It died here, but just because it died here doesn't mean it can't live somewhere else.
Yeah, but if it,
I feel like there's probably a lot of things that happens over there or in other countries that are just never normalized in the US.
Yeah, but it's because the US is the highest tier. Like once you get to this tier, this is
what happens.
This is what happens.
Oh, so it's like we're almost in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you look back 60 years, it's just how it was.
But I don't know, it's weird because I felt like it's different there. Like I feel like I feel like here in the US you go up to a woman and it's like it's creep right there, right? You do that over there, it's not like that. Like a woman would not see you like creep. She would not see you like you're trying to hit on her. She would see you as just another person. How you doing? Oh, whatever. And we'll have a genuine conversation with you. It seems like she don't have that thought in her head.
But that's the privilege shit here. Like people are so high status now.
They feel so high up. Huh?
Yeah.
And over there, it's like, I think it's people like acknowledge that they come from the dirt. Like they really like, you hear a lot of people talking about they come from the streets, the hood. Nah, this is really the dirt right here. And I think when you have that in common with other people and you see that, I think that's where the love comes because we're living the same way. Like, hey, sometimes you let me borrow some money so I can buy something for my kid. And sometimes I let you borrow, like that's how it is. So I think because of that, it's so like
shitting in a hole, taking showers with buckets, freaking having to watch out for animals coming into the house.
Yeah, because I always realize, I always say to myself, I'm blessed, but it's always good to have that reminder, like I could be living like this, or life can be like this. But I realized that money ain't everything. Like there was a lot of fun times we had over there and a lot of fun moments. And it's so cool that I live in the moment now and I can acknowledge when something great is happening in front of me. And I was like, when I seen my mom and all her sisters laughing together and we're rolling in the heat and we're riding to my grandma's house and the van we have doesn't have AC, so they roll the windows down and sand is coming in through each side. Where mom's like so red because of the heat. Everybody, we're sitting on buckets. All our asses hurt because we're all jumping and moving like this in the car because there's no seatbelts or nothing. And they're all sitting here just talking about a time we had. And they're all laughing. And I'm like it showed me like this is love right here. This is how life was and should be. And it showed me what have we turned life into. Because it's like, it just seems like everything was in that van. It felt like almost like if I was teleported to another world where it's like, this is how life should be.
And it's because there's no internet.
And it was just crazy. But you really think it's the internet?
Mm-hmm.
That's it?
Yeah, because you don't have no internet. What else are you going to do? You can't be on your phone. Well, so you have to be reading real world.
Oh, maybe, but I don't know.
Everywhere you go is real world because there's no internet.
But it's definitely an experience. And when I was sleeping at our grandma's, like we were sleeping and they always say, our grandma says like, sometimes because she sleeps by herself and she has 2 beds. She always keeps 2 beds in her room. Her room is probably like the size of this room. if not a little bit smaller. She has 2 beds in it. And she says she sleeps by herself most of the time. And she says at nighttime sometimes she hears things. And she that day we got there, she told my mom, I've been having some trouble sleeping. I've been staying up at night. I don't know why. Like, I just feel like I'm really in my head thinking a lot. And mom's like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, sometimes I hear things. Sometimes you hear somebody walking in the nighttime. And I'm like, that's weird. But we heard this before from the last time that we were there. She told us the same thing. So every time I'm there, I'm always just like, like, is there something here? Like paranormal wise? I'm like, whatever. I ignore all that stuff because the paranormal doesn't frighten me the way it used to. So when it was nighttime, she's like, everybody ready? Like, you ready to go to sleep? And they're like, yeah, everything's good. She's like, because I'm gonna turn the light off. She's like, I don't like having lights on because it troubles me to sleep. So I'm gonna turn it off. And we're like, oh, it's fine, turn it off. She's like, I'm warning you, it gets super dark in here. Like, you can't see anything. And we're like, okay, that's fine. She turns it off and she was right. You can't see anything.
It's black?
It's black, pitch black, like dark. And then because there's no street lights, there's nothing like that. It's really pitch darkness. And I'm like, oh, whatever, right? Who cares? So I'm like, whatever, I get ready for bed. I'm already like close to falling asleep. And mom was moving a lot. She's moving a lot. And all of a sudden, mom's like, turn on the light. She told me that. And I was like, what? She's like, turn on your phone light. So right away, I turned it on hella fast. Boom, boom. And I pointed. And she's like, there was a shadow figure walking like around the room. And she's like, I thought it was my mom. But when you turn the light on, it was nobody. Now, my mom had called out before I turned the light on. Mom said, ¿Qué traes, ama? Which means like,
what's wrong?
What's wrong? What are you doing? Like, because mom's like, why is she walking back and forth? Like, we said we were going to go to sleep. And it wasn't her. She was laying on the bed. So mom's like,
how far are the rooms? Like, where are the rooms at?
What do you mean the room?
Because you said there's 2 rooms.
No, there's 1 room, 2 beds in it.
Oh, you guys all slept in the same room, just 2 different beds.
Yeah, 2 different beds. Like, literally, like, we're sleeping on this corner. She's sleeping on that corner. Probably like this far away.
Oh.
Right? But it's kind of cramped in there because it's a small room and it's 2 big beds, probably like queen size. So my mom says, turn on the light. We look and mom's like, there was a shadow figure. I was like, what shadow figure? She was like, it was right near your legs. Like above your legs. And I'm like, but before all
you
this,
were awake or are you sleeping?
No, I was about to go to sleep. I was still awake.
Oh, you were doing this?
But I missed the part because when we were in pitch darkness, you heard a noise. And I heard a noise like something along like that. It's hard to replicate.
Where?
It sounded like in the kitchen.
Oh.
It sounded in the kitchen. And then I heard a closer noise in the room, but it was smaller. And I was like, because she had just mentioned all that stuff about paranormal stuff, it kind of got me thinking, right? So for a moment, I was like, what if some ghost shit going on? But I was like, who cares about that? Like, I ain't scared of nothing because Jesus Christ, I believe in Jesus Christ. Nothing could touch me. And right away, that's when I was going to sleep. And that's when my mom said, turn on the light. So once that happened, our grandma turned on the big light, right? The room light. And she looked and she got up and she ran to the kitchen. So like, cause she said, I thought somebody was in the house. And she's like, mom's like, did you hear that? Did you see anything? She's like, I didn't see anything. She's like, but I heard the noise in the kitchen. And we all heard the noise in the kitchen. And she's like, I was worried somebody broke in because she has a window and that window is broken. So there's like, somebody can get in.
How big is the window?
It's pretty big. It's the size of this television, probably. A little bit smaller.
And it's broken, like it's completely bare? Like there's nothing?
No, almost
no
bare,
glass?
but there's like little pokes. So like somebody comes in, they could cut themselves type stuff. But she's like, I was worried that somebody might have came in. So she just ran to the kitchen. And she ran and she didn't see anything. And then she's like, it's a big ass frog here.
Where?
In the room.
In the kitchen?
No, in the room we were in.
Oh.
And then they started saying like, what if it's a witch? Mom's like, what if it's a witch or something that just turned from a human to a frog. And to me, I'm hearing this, right? And you always hear a bunch of stuff. I'm like, a witch that turns into a frog? Like, it's just a frog. But it's like, they were like,
How the
no.
fuck a frog
And then
is,
our
like-
grandma was like, it could be. It could. And I'm like, oh, maybe she knows something I don't. Like, I don't know. Maybe some stuff like that happens over here. I don't know. So when she said it could be, I'm like, she's like, well, let's try to get it out. And when I got up and I was like, where is it? She's like, it's right there. And when I looked at it, the first time I seen it, it didn't look like a frog, but I couldn't see it. It was in the shadows a little bit. There was only a little light hitting it. You know what it looked like? It looked like almost like a porcupine, like a baby one with spikes. It looked kind of like that. And I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. And for a moment, I became a believer in the supernatural, like, you know how they hear like the duendes and stuff?
Yeah.
I was like, what? Because I've never seen that. I was like, I've never seen whatever that is. And it was turning his back to me and it was hiding his head in the shadows. And I was like, what the hell is that? But I only saw it briefly. And it went into underneath the cabinet and she was trying to get it out. And she's like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get it out. So we were like trying to, and we couldn't. And she's like, who knows where it's at now? So she's like, let's not worry about it. Let's go back to sleep. And we'll worry about it in the morning. We'll look for it and we'll get it. So mom was talking to her. We were already laying down again. Mom was talking to her mom for like probably 2 minutes. And then she's like, it's right near the bed. Like, it's right there. It's right near the bed. So I'm like, where? And then she's like, it's right there. So I got up and she gave me the broom.
But where? So it was in the cabinet?
Like underneath it. You know how
a cabinet in the room?
Yeah, in the room.
And then how far is the cabinet from where it is now? Where it was now by the bed?
Around 5 feet. Like if the cabinet was right there, the bed was right here, it was now right here.
And there was no ribbit noises?
There was a noise of it jumping.
Oh, that's what you guys heard.
That's
before.
what we heard in the room, I believe. That's what it was. Right? So she gave me...
Oh, that's what my mom said she was moving in the room, huh?
But my mom said she saw a shadowy figure. I don't know what the hell that was. Right? So she gives me the broom. And I was surprised because she was taking initiative, right? So I didn't know what it was, right? I'm still in my head, I'm like, what the fuck is this? But I can't be no bitch, you know, it is what it is. Whatever it is, I gotta handle it. She handed me the broom. I took that shit, like, no worry, because it's not time to be a bitch. Like, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is gonna meet me. So it's like, so she's like, it's behind the bucket. Like, she had a little like bucket there. She's like, so it was like a whole episode in the house. She's like, I'm gonna grab the bucket, and when I grab the bucket away, you get him. And I said, do you have like a spare bucket, like a little spare something, so whatever it is, I could throw it in there? And she's like, yeah, let me go get one. So she got one, and it was a very small one. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work, but I'll try. So she moved the bucket. I seen it. It's a big ass frog. That's what it was. It was a frog, probably the size of like my hand, damn near, a little bit smaller, but this fucking big, huge fucking frog. And I hit it with the broom, and I pinned him, and I got the other thing, and I sweeped it in, and I had him in right in the thing. He jumped out. I already knew he was gonna jump out, so he jumped out, and I told mom, grab him, because mom had a stick too, and she like put him on the side, and I had him, and I told my grandma, I think I'm gonna have to kill him, like, because I don't have a bucket or anything to get him. And as soon as I said that, she hands me a machete. She hands me a old rusty machete. And I'm like, oh, well, I was like, this frog's gonna die. Like, I'm gonna kill him because he's bothering us. And especially because I'm like, if it is a witch, right? What if it is a witch? They're saying this shit gotta go, and I can't be no bitch, right? So it's like, whatever they gave it to me, then I started stabbing his ass. Boom, boom. All you
chopping him up?
Yeah, basically all you hear is the blade going in and going through him and hitting the cement on the bottom. Ding, 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 ding. Like smacking him. And he's still alive, and now he's bleeding. He's bleeding, and there's blood on the ground. A little bit. And then he jumps, and
he still jumps after you slice them in half?
Yeah, I stabbed that fool probably like 10 times.
How big? But the
frog is the size of my hand.
Yeah, like, but you hit him with the machete straight through?
No, straight, like the machete.
Oh, you went like this?
Yeah, because you can't swipe.
Why?
Because the way it was, there was no room for that.
Oh.
The best way to get him and you want to stab
Why
him.
don't you just put it like that and then just like slice them slow?
Slice him slow?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't think of that. To me, I'm like, I got to get him. Like, if I stab him multiple times, it's over for him. And I was worried about him jumping. So I just, ting, 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 ting,
So it was
ting,
a
ting,
50
ting,
Cent
ting.
of frogs.
Yeah, just hit him. Bah, 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 bah. And then he spun over, and you could see he was all bloody now because I stabbed him. And maybe the machete was a little dull. So he turned over, and he still jumped. And then he had jumped underneath another cabinet. But this cabinet, there was room underneath, probably like a gap like this much in between the legs. So I got the light, and I had the broom, and I just went bam. I smacked him with the broom, so that way he hit the corner of the wall, and I was crushing him damn near. Bam, 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 3 times, and the third, and he was just moving, right? He was just moving, but on the third time that I hit him, his guts and shit came out on the other side, and then there was no moving no more. So I grabbed the broom and I scooped him and I put him in that thing she gave me, and then I went outside and I threw it and I left it there. And then that was the end of that frog. I murdered that frog brutally.
Yeah.
Like,
You could have ended his life pretty fast.
But I mean, I didn't, like, normally my intention would not be, let me kill the frog. But because of the way everything was playing out, some paranormal shit, and then they were saying that it could be a witch, and I'm like, well, then it gotta die, right? Because if this is supposedly a witch, let me kill it real quick. Let me kill it. And then they'll leave us alone. They won't mess with her no more.
I think anytime there's an animal inside your home, it's like
it's like you're on the wrong territory.
Yeah, it's
gangland
yeah,
shit.
You can kill it. If it's inside your house, you have the right to kill it.
I didn't want to kill it, but because of the way it played out, I'm like, I'm gonna have to kill him.
Anything from as small as a spider to as big as a human or bigger,
gotta die.
Gotta die if it comes into
or
the
can
house.
Die.
Yeah, you can kill it
basically.
Yeah, anything. You can if a toddler comes into your house unannounced, you can kill him.
Damn. You can, like, rightfully so, you mean?
Yeah, if he's troubling you, he's not letting you sleep, kill him.
Oh shit, I don't know about that.
Anything that comes in, living or whatever, witchery, ghost, doesn't matter.
But that's what I was thinking in my head, because I'm like, at first there's no way. But because the way everything played out, right, the noises, we woke up, then they announced it was a frog. And then when I seen it, it looked like it had spikes on it at first. It looked like a ball with spikes on it and a head, like a pointy head, and it was like hiding his face. So I'm like, this is something supernatural. I'm a believer, right? Because for the moment, I don't know what that is. And I was like, for a moment, I was a little scared, but I'm like, what am I scared of? This little small ass thing, whatever it is, I'm gonna kill it. So then that's when we found out it was a frog, whatever, and then I killed it. But that's why I killed it, whatever, and I threw it away. And then the next day, our grandma was like, you should have seen it. She like, they were scaring her at nighttime. She was speaking about my mom. She's like, they were scaring her at nighttime. And we don't know what it was. And then it was a frog. There was a frog. And they're like, and she pointed at me, you should have seen it. He with the machete, you could just hear it ricochet off the cement. The way he is here. He's like down and started laughing hella hard.
Yeah. All right.
Everybody was laughing.
Oh.
Because they were like, because our grandma, the way she explained it, and she's like, you should have seen it. The way that machete was hitting the boom, 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 boom. Like stabbing. Well, that's crazy. But I'm like, when they said it was a witch, I'm like, I mean, there's no time. Because the first time I'm like, there's no way, right? I don't believe that. But, you know, when my mom said, maybe it's a witch. And I'm like, when I heard that, I'm like, I don't believe it's a witch. But then our grandma said, maybe it is. And then the way and I looked at it, it didn't look like a frog at first.
Was it discolored or what color was it?
It was like no, it was greenish, like a
regular. So regular growth.
Yeah, it's just huge. I never seen one that big.
Yeah, I thought frog were small.
That shit was huge as shit. Like,
yeah, I didn't know if frogs can get that.
And it didn't make no noises.
Not one, only the jumping, huh?
It didn't make no noises. I don't know nothing. I'm not pretend like I know frogs, but I always hear them go like that rivet shit, whatever it is. He didn't make no noises. Not even when I was stabbing him or nothing. That fool didn't make no noise.
He was mute. That's why.
I don't know. I was like, maybe when I'm stabbing him, because you know sometimes they can yell. They're gonna go.
Yeah,
"Whoa," they
any
can
animal
scream. Yeah, they can scream.
after you start fucking them up, say something.
That motherfucker didn't say shit.
Even that fucking that possum that you shot like a million times. Even that motherfucker said something.
Huh. So I was like, yeah, it was weird, but I mean, that's just what happens. You know?
Yeah, no, I didn't know. How the fuck did they get a big ass frog like that go inside though?
But that's what they were talking about the next day. They're like, we don't know how the fuck that got in.
Yeah, that
like,
big ass
But
frog.
they're like, maybe because we do leave the door open for long periods of time.
During the day?
During the day, they leave it open.
Maybe, I mean, if it's a big ass desert though, you would think where the fuck a frog come from in a desert.
Well, there's snakes, there's frogs, there's dogs.
But desert snakes are known to be in desert, like hot shit. That's known. But like frogs, you would think be by water.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't know frogs.
But those big ass frogs is probably because there's a lot of insects there.
Think so?
That's why they get fat like that. Yeah, they get fat like that. The motherfucker had a good life. I don't even know how long frogs live for.
Maybe.
But that motherfucker's probably eating.
But a frog can grow like that? Like
I don't know.
Or is it just a certain species of frog that grows to that size?
I have no idea. But I'm sure he's eating good if he's that big.
Right. But when I killed him, he stayed with his eyes open. And then
he should have done the clothes that shit.
Oh shit! Should have closed. Nah, I have no respect for him.
He was
messing with us. So when I threw him right the next day, I was like, "Let me see if where I threw it," and he wasn't there. I don't know what happened. So then when I went to take a shower, right by the shower, I had looked down because I had put my clothing on top of a bucket. So I looked down, and it was right there.
But the same way you threw it?
It was probably like 20 feet away. 20 feet away.
20 feet away from where you threw it?
Yeah.
Like in the direction you threw it?
Imagine I threw it over there. It was over here. So I was like,
oh, fuck it,
I'm like, that shit's crazy. Like what it is. And then I looked at it and it had his eyes open still. And his side where his guts came out was all
You
red.
think 100% it was dead? 1,000,000% it was dead?
Yeah, I was like,
when you put it in the bucket?
Yeah, that's what I thought because I was seeing no movement, right? So after I took a shower, I told my grandma, "Hey, the frog's over there now." She's like, "Oh,
with the guts off came out and everything."
Yeah, it was just like a ball out of it. Like so the side it was all red and it was being eaten now by the insects. And I told my grandma, "Hey, the frog's over there now," and she's like, "Yeah, the dogs get at it." And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." Because there's dogs that just walk around, probably just bite at it. She's like, hopefully they don't eat it because those are poisonous. Shit, you telling me that now?
That's why the frog didn't give a fuck, probably then. Yeah, like whatever.
Because how does that work? The frogs, how do they poison you? Is it
no? They have toxins in their skin.
So if you touch them,
or you eat them,
that's the only way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't touch them. The blade touched them.
And where the fuck she get a machete from?
She has it because
she just has a machete at the blue by her side at all times.
Yeah, she had it in a bucket, and she just has it all the time. She says
next to her bed.
That's her weapon. She says somebody comes in there. So she said, and I'm like, yeah.
She got a rush. We need to update
she's
that
a real
boy.
Gangster though.
We need to update that machete.
Yeah, we gotta sharpen it too.
Yeah, because you said it's all rusty and shit.
And she said sometimes they're worried because, like I said, there's a lot of crazy people around here sometimes doing drugs. So I'm worried that sometimes they come in. So sometimes when I hear noises, I get up. And that's why she got up. And my aunt told her, you need to not do that. Like the way you got up was really dangerous. Like if there was somebody in the kitchen, she had no weapon or nothing. She just ran in. But her, what is it called?
I think it's just instinctive. She wants to go see.
What do you call it? Her bravery is what I seen from her. Like straight badass. Like just run at it. Like you don't even know who's over there. You just running at it. And I'm like,
it's weird. Has a machete next to her bed and shit. We're all rusty, dull as fuck.
And she had told.
It's hefty. Is it small?
It's like a normal one, a normal machete. Probably the blade's probably this big.
Oh, okay. So it's not. It's not what I envisioned. And I thought it was like a sword looking thing.
Nah, probably like this big. And the next day, she had. We were talking to my mom's brother, which is our uncle. And she was saying like, oh, we didn't know if somebody came in the house or so whatever it was. And he said, don't ever worry about somebody coming in the house. He said, he's talking real gangster, man. He's like, don't ever worry about somebody coming in the house. People around here, they know. That's what he said. People around here, they know. And if anybody dares come into your home, he said that to grandma. If anybody dares come into their home, they know what's going to happen to them.
Who's this?
This is our uncle. And I was like, damn, like, I love that. Like, that's how it should be. Like, nobody coming in this motherfucker. That's the same attitude I have. Like, but the way he said it, though, made it seem like there's other people in that pledged allegiance to that. Nobody comes. But apparently, like, our grandma is well known over there and is liked and respected by everybody, including gang members.
It'd be tight if I could go over there.
It was a hell of an experience, and this wasn't the first time I went. I went there 3 times. I would go over there again. I would live over there. Like, the only reason why I say I would live over there is because I would want to better it. I would want to better the situation. I feel like I can only do that if I live there. You know, so where everything's on me, I can build it up. Because some of the things, like, some of the house is not falling apart. It's not the same as it used to. It's getting old. Certain things are falling and they look like they might collapse. And I'm like, this is not safe, especially for you. So it's like, you know, so I would want to fix it up, you know, give her running water, fix up the bathrooms. But it's just like I said, you realize like how blessed we are. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.